Hey, good morning, Wixman Ray here, or also known as Ray Wixman or Weatherman Ray. Man, can't think and speak today, can I? Hey, it's another Monday, another what do they call it? Manic Monday from the 80s. Anyways, yeah, so I've got the satellite pulled up here for you guys to see. This is what we call our I'll read it down here for you. Our day cloud phase it helps us during the day to see the to tell what kind of clouds we got going on out there. So out west here you're seeing a lot of this orange stuff is all this high cloud, especially out from like Nevada and out eastward. This more purplish pink, I guess, color underneath it. Those are lower and middle level clouds, and there's some precipitation going on through this area, which we'll show you here in a minute. All the green stuff you see here over the mountains here in the Sierras and back here in the mountains, Utah and Colorado, and even up there's a swath up through Nebraska, Iowa, and then back here. That's all snow cover. So there was a pretty good snowstorm through here last week. I think it was the end of last week, and then this stuff was probably recent too. And then this was from that all that snow we got last week. So they got some pretty good snowpack. I'm sure they're way below normal still, but that's what's going on in the west. Pretty quiet. I mean, all across the south, beautiful weather. Look at that. Yeah, so beautiful weather. Except for unless you're up in the northeast, they've got this nor'easter going on. There's the low pressure offshore. Long Island's over here. So yeah, from the entire Northeast, from Maine down through eastern New York, New Jersey, and down through these parts, there's still some snow going on, some pretty heavy snow too. They had some pretty significant amounts. I'll show you that here over the last 24 hours since yesterday. And anyway, so those are the main systems. Then we've got some lingering lower clouds back here across the Great Lakes and across the Ohio Valley down into kind of button up against the Appalachians here in Tennessee and Kentucky and the Carolinas here in West Virginia. So, and there's some light snow flurries going on with that. You also got some clouds, kind of lake effect clouds coming off these lakes too. So that's kind of enhancing snow in some areas. That's our satellite view. Whoops. We'll get to that on another video. We'll talk to you. I forgot to go back to the United States. So out west, yeah, here's this rain. We got the rain going on for, it's kind of touching the northern California, but most of it's up in Oregon and Washington, the Pacific Northwest. And then you got a band kind of extending across over northern Idaho into eastern Montana, or western Montana, I should say. And there's some snow going on in some parts. In the lower elevations, it's warm enough for rain. What is this place? That's Coeur d'Alene. So if you're familiar with that part of the world, this is beautiful country. If you're a traveler, I would highly recommend going up through here if you like to RV or camp. Beautiful. Went through there a couple years ago. Out of British Columbia, man, just gorgeous. Anyways, that's another subject, but otherwise, south of there, like I showed you, there's some high cloud, not showing up in the obs. A lot of these ASOSs only measure up to 12,000 feet. That's how the ASOSs are developed. And so any clouds above 12,000 feet, you're not going to see on these automated weather observations here. But places like Salt Lake City and Reno, they've got a human observer there. So there's a person there and they're reporting the clouds. So that's Reno and Salt Lake. So you can see yeah, it's 25,000 feet, broken to overcast. So some high stuff up where the jets fly. So yeah, but pretty nice out there. The sun's come up out here 10 o'clock out west in the Pacific time zone and in the 40s and 50s. A little bit cooler at Reno, 35. But yeah, there's no real Arctic air out here. It's pretty mild. So near to above normal temperatures across all the west here for the foreseeable future. Beautiful 77 in Phoenix. A little bit cooler in Las Vegas, but I was down in that neck of the woods over the weekend, and it was even getting up at near 60, and it was beautiful with the sun shining, at least for me. because I'm from the north. Pretty nice in LA, 70. New Mexico's warming up into the 50s, on their way to 60s probably for this afternoon. And then a little bit as we head here, a little windy out here in the high plains and into West Texas, 30, 40 mile an hour winds coming out of the south. So, but relatively mild. Back here across the southeast, this is where our cold air is, basically the eastern half of the United States. You can see 40s and 30s, even 20s up in Nashville. So cool all the way down into Florida, 51 at Jacksonville right now, and it's what, 1 o'clock out there now? 61 in Miami, so definitely colder for, they're wearing their jackets down there in Florida. So, but hey, it beats what you're getting up in the Northeast, right? So we'll start checking this out. So this was this stuff in the backside where I showed you the lower clouds. You can see this is light snow and some snow flurries. It gets a little more intense as you butt up against some of the Appalachian here, but yeah, so they might get a few more inches out there. Looks like a little enhancement off of Lake Erie here, just south of Cleveland, and up towards I forget the name of that, Ashtabula. There's another place up here. I can't remember. Anyways, up off of Lake Erie in northeastern Ohio. And also same deal up around Buffalo and Rochester. They got some light snow, and it looks like some heavier bands coming off of Lake Ontario there this morning, or this afternoon for them. And then back here, you got a little bit of lake effect, some little bands. So they'll still see some accumulation. So the snow's been pretty good out in this whole general area. It seems like it's been pretty persistent this winter. The rest of the U.S. has just kind of been hit and miss. Man, and they're getting pounded here out in the Northeast. So we're looking at, this is Delmarva Peninsula, Washington D.C.'s over here. So it looks like they've got some clouds around there, but the snow's ended around D.C. area. It looks like if you go across over into Delaware, New Jersey, parts of Maryland over here, there's some lingering light snow, and then you farther north, you got some heavier snow bands up towards New York City and near Long Island. Some gusty winds too, so 30, 40 mile an hour winds in that range. So pretty strong, stronger as you get closer to the coast, up to 50, 60 mile an hour gusts. Snowing really good up here near Boston and to Rhode Island and Massachusetts and Connecticut back here, parts of Connecticut. Yeah, the entire Northeast, and then you got bands going up into all of New England up here, and it's really windy. So, some blizzard conditions. Nasty day out there. They've had a ton of snow. So that's what's going on there. Just not last but not least, a little cool up over Fargo, 9 degrees, up international fall in the single digits. So a little cold up here, single digits of teens. As you head south, it warms up, even teens back into Iowa. So, but that's because they got all that cloud, the snow cover on the ground right out here. So that's kind of keeping temperatures from warming up as much. So got a lot. I think they got upwards of a foot in some of those areas over the couple days ago. Anyways, I'm just jabbering on here. So yeah, here's their 24-hour snow amounts. Oh my gosh, look at this. I mean, there's a 32 inches up in Rhode Island, someplace. 32, yeah, and then over 2 feet in parts of New York and New Jersey, Massachusetts. Yeah, all along Long Island. Especially the closer you get to the coast, man, they just got pummeled, man. So my 6 to 12, I was way off. That was my guess. I was telling you about the other day on Saturday, I think it was. They got pummeled, man. Just, I mean, around New York City itself, I think there's what, 18 inches or 20 inches plus. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Yeah, this is in New Jersey over 2 feet in some areas. So 18 to 24 plus inches, even in New York City. I mean, look at this, man. I mean, it's light there, but I mean, there's 16 there, 20 there. This is in Manhattan here, so they got pummeled. So I don't know where they're going to put all that snow. And they've had a lot of snow out there lately. Even down towards, you know, all the way down south here, they had over a foot down here in parts of, what is this, Delaware? As you get over towards Maryland, you know, DC area, what is it, 3 to maybe 6 at the most, in that range. So even that area got snow. Some higher amounts up in, I think this is parts of West Virginia and Maryland, up in the mountains there. So yeah, even back here, yeah. So yeah, and then kind of scattered about on the backside of this system. They had, you know, anywhere from, you know, a couple inch, 1 or 2 inches to 3 to 6 inches. Yeah, up off these lakes here, they got a little more. It looks like almost 6. Yeah, 6 there. So yeah, so that's where all the snow was, man, for the last 24 hours. Even some up here off of Lake Superior with those lake effects, man, that place had 32 inches. But that was over 72 hours. But yeah, they always get a ton of snow off these lakes with the lake effect, so that's nothing new for some of those areas. All right, so that's what's going on with the snowfall. On to the forecast. So I'm going to show you the upper levels here. This is our if you've watched this a while now, this is our 500 millibar chart, 18,000 feet above sea level. The lines are our contour lines here are lines of equal heights, and the red and yellows and orange colors, that's your vorticity, which is basically causing upward motion. We call it upward vertical motion, and that causes clouds and precipitation. So out here on the east, you can see this low pressure system just off the shore, and this is as of about right now. And then there's like a whole trough. We call this a trough in meteorology. So troughing throughout the east coast here, all the way, you know, even down towards Florida. So and some vorticity, so some upward motion. So you know that's why we're seeing this whole nor'easter and snow and clouds and the whole mess. Another little wave up there in what is that, Quebec and Ontario, that part of Canada. So, and then we kind of got this broad. This is what we call a broad ridge of high pressure, but in meteorological terms, this is what they call a ridge. So when you see this kind of flow, this is your ridge. And then we see this kind of flow, it's your trough. So there you go, meteorology 101. And then you got a little bit of energy, and that's why they were getting that rain and snow out here in the Pacific Northwest and Idaho, you know, just a little bit. No real, you know, strong organized system, but enough to produce some precipitation and clouds out in this part of the world. So that's for today, for right now. As we head into the future here, I'll show you what happens with the chart. So this is tonight, and let's go all the way through Tuesday. So you start seeing kind of a general flattening of the pattern. There's still some dips, and so we got this real broad ridge across the western United States, and then kind of a broad trough more offshore now. You know, it's still part of the East Coast, so that's where the stormy weather is. And then you got a little wave up here. That one up here. This came out of Canada, so it's actually this one back here, the Pacific Northwest one. That energy is starting to get a little stronger, and that's what happens when these what we call short waves. So this is what we call a short wave energy that comes out of over the ridge, and as it comes into the trough, they typically like to deepen or strengthen. We call it deepen in meteorological terms, but strengthen is probably something that you might recognize better. Normal people that don't understand all the meteorology. Yeah, so this is for tomorrow, you know, tomorrow afternoon, evening time frame. So we got some general troughing up here in the Great Lakes, and so we'll see what it's going to show on the surface. Otherwise, through here, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of weather. It's just kind of a straight, what we call, this is almost like a zonal pattern. So when you see a pattern like this, you're going to get relatively fast moving systems. They're not going to be wound up like that nor'easter we had over the weekend. They're going to scoot through, you know, pretty quick within, you know, over a 24-hour period or so, and you'll kind of see that. So as we head into, okay, we'll go right into Wednesday evening. So you can see that whole trough is shifted clear over towards the northeast. It's still hitting parts of the Great Lakes. So this is a general area you can expect to be cloudy and maybe some snow showers and snow still going on across this general part of the neck of the woods. We see this here, a little piece of energy. It kind of snuck out of the Pacific Northwest here on Tuesday, and see how quick it's moved. I mean, it's already moved, you know, almost halfway across the United States in 24 hours. So it's out here in Nebraska. So we're going to probably see a little system developing, and usually the surface reflection will be out ahead of it to the east somewhere in this general area. So we'll see what the surface charts show us. And kind of the same pattern still going on. It's gotten a little more flatter, but generally a high pressuring ridge type deal with these little embedded waves that'll cause some weather in the middle. Um, and then this general trough of low pressure, which will cause a little more unsettled weather. So, but down here, even though it's somewhat troughing, there's not any kind of energy to produce any kind of, you know, much in the way of precipitation until this wave comes down. But you see this, we're going into Thursday. See how quick that's moved? I mean, it's already down into the southeast towards, you know, Arkansas. So this area will probably see some sort of storminess down here. Still got that general, you know, troughing of low pressure out in the east. Same up here, same idea. You got these little bands of energy keep coming out, you know, coming over the ridge through southern Canada, and they go into the northeast, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. So this is late in the day, in the evening on Thursday. So kind of the same pattern persists in the northeast. So you're not going to totally get rid of the snow anytime soon up there. So, you know, that darn groundhog really cursed you guys up there, you know. What the hell they say, a pot of wux and you fill, or however. Anyways, the groundhog, I think that's why they locked him up. Or he's running. I just think it's funny, all the Facebook posts about him. Yeah, and still, you know, it's going to be dry across the west, especially the southwest. So not much in the way of weather going on down there through the week. So as we head into Friday here, you see this, there's a couple little pieces of energy that come out of the Rockies. And so we're probably going to see some showers and thunderstorms in this neck of the woods towards Friday too, as there's this troughing of low pressure down in here. And starts to, might get a brief break out in here in the northeast, but there comes another one on Saturday. And this is the one that'll bring a little bit colder air, some Arctic air up into the northern plains, up into the northeast and the Great Lakes. Doesn't look like it would get too far south. This is Saturday night into Sunday. So yeah, all the cold air will be bottled up probably, I don't know, maybe down to Nebraska and Iowa, and parts of, you know, this part of the country. And then we kind of see a shift out here in the west. We start seeing a low pressure coming offshore. This is, you know, almost a week out, 6, 7 days out. So there might be some more storminess out here in the west as we, you know, look that far out. So yeah. So generally fast moving systems once this nor'easter pulls out. Yeah, and this little wave here that comes off of the Pacific Northwest will probably bring some rain across northern Nevada into Utah, probably. We'll have to see what the surface shows us. So that's where we're going next, and then we'll wind this video up here, guys. We'll go to our, I like to show this one because it gives the model depiction of where they think the snow and the ice and the, you know, and then the rain, the liquid form of precip will be. So it's generally useful, you know, just for the big picture. All right. So this is, yeah, today's Monday. So yeah, this is up in the Pacific Northwest. We'll talk about this stuff out here. So as we go overnight into Tuesday, yeah, it looks like some pretty good rains out of parts of Oregon and Northern California. That shifts a little bit as this little piece of energy moves on shore on tonight into Tuesday. You see some mountain snows out in Idaho and parts of Wyoming, Montana, valley rains, as it's pretty mild with this system. As we go through the day on Tuesday, yeah, that little wave, those little pieces of energy I showed you will give a little rain down into northern Nevada, out towards northern Utah around Salt Lake City. And yeah, that's going into the day, so that'll linger on Wednesday morning and then start to dry out here as we head into, you know, that'll linger on Wednesday and then kind of fizzle. So, and then out, we're just looking at the west. Looks pretty dry. Maybe a little pup, birds of snow up near the border, but yeah. And this is as we head into the weekend. Friday, it's like late Friday and Saturday. Some snow may break out and across North the Dakotas into Montana. So we'll just have to watch that as this low pressure and that's bringing see all these blue lines packed together. This is showing that colder air with that Arctic plunge coming across the northern part of the United States. Okay, so we'll back up here a little bit and show you what's going on out east and in the middle part of the country. So this is right now this nor'easter. So by tonight, it's still got some ongoing snow back here. Down like New Jersey, Long Island, it'll start to taper off this evening. And as we head to tonight into tomorrow morning, it's pretty much not a. There might be some lingering light snows up here, especially near the lakes and button up against the Appalachians, and West Virginia and maybe even Pennsylvania. But yeah, just that thing will be winding down and going bye-bye out to sea. And then you see this next little clipper coming down with one of those waves. I showed you that general troughing of low pressure. This will bring some snow mainly up, in the far northern part. This is like the same pattern we've seen. I don't know how long this has been, a week or two. Same kind of general thing where it's going to be up around the Great Lakes into northern Minnesota, parts of North Dakota, just kind of clipping it. And then in the Northeast gets more snow. What's new, guys? You guys are probably tired of the snow. And I mean, this is what? What? So this is Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So I mean, the snow is out here all the day on Wednesday, some lingering snow. Farther south, there may be some spotty rain, nothing real organized. And that's what that energy I started showing you coming in on Wednesday and Thursday. Um, so, I mean, just focusing up there, it looks like you get a little relief maybe late someday on Thursday, maybe into Friday. Yeah, towards the weekend. Then another system kind of clips the Northeast on Saturday into Sunday. And there's that cold air. This is Sunday morning here. So yeah, this whole general area will be where the cold air is. This doesn't look like it'll sink down south here at this point in time. So we kind of skipped right over this. So it looks like a little band of snow will set up with that one wave coming out of the Rockies on Wednesday, clip the Dakotas, maybe parts of Nebraska. It looks like through Iowa, and so a little narrow band of snow. So there'll be some wintry weather through this area, several inches of snow. I wouldn't hazard to guess. I'm sure upwards of 3 to 6 inches. It's pretty progressive, so it shouldn't be a whole lot. But sometimes these things overperform. And then I think, especially on Thursday, we'll probably start seeing some thunderstorms breaking out because you got the front kind of coming down here into this low pressure and some warmer air coming up from the Gulf of, so we'll probably see some thunderstorm showers. And that's through Thursday as we head into Friday, probably showers and thunderstorms. Don't know if there are going to be any kind of severe. It doesn't look like a real good setup for severe, but we'll keep an eye on that through the week. And then it looks like that front kind of stalls over the northern Florida area as we head through the weekend. Then it kind of weakens and goes out to sea. But yeah, so that's kind of what it's looking like. So basically, just kind of fast moving systems, continued, snow and snow showers across this part of the country through a good part of the week. Probably a break towards the end of the week as this cold air comes down, and this low pressure may bring a little bit to parts of New England, the far northern part of Maine and maybe Vermont and even New York. But we'll see how that pans out on the weekend. It's still a little far out, but the models have been pretty consistent bringing the colder air in. So winter ain't over. The groundhog was unfortunately right, at least to this point. And we're 3 weeks out since he started talking to us. And yeah, and then you see that another area we talked about that on the upper levels. This next area of rain coming in late, on the weekend out west. So, whoops. So we'll see if that pans out. Might. So they need the rain out here, but definitely need snowpack. So yeah, so there you go. Hey, that's all I got to say about that. I should be doing a video today about weather around the world, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. And this is Wixman Ray out.